Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, Voodoo flies over 531 miles per hour in record attempt. Blumenthal Bell completes Harvey relief mission. And NASA astronauts oppose ATC privatization in ICAST video. Hello, I'm Christopher C. Odom. It's September 8th, 2017, and this is Airborne Unlimited. Aero racing champion Steve Hinton Jr. took to the skies of Idaho over Labor Day weekend, and in stunning fashion flew his highly modified P-51 Mustang Voodoo to a speed of 531.51 miles per hour, the fastest speed ever achieved in the world for a piston engine propeller-driven airplane. The average speed recorded by Hinton Jr. tops the 528.3 miles per hour recorded by Lyle Shelton back in 1989. Hinton Jr.'s record falls within the subclass for internal combustion engine planes with a weight of between 3,000 to 6,000 kilograms and eclipses Will Whiteside Jr.'s previous mark of 318.01 miles per hour achieved in 2012. Hinton Jr. had originally planned to make the attempt on August 28th, but mechanical issues forced it back to the hangar for maintenance. Preparation was made to give it a go again on September 2nd. The Voodoo took off around 5:30 p.m. local time, flying 4 passes across a 3-kilometer course at an altitude of about 100 meters. Hinton Jr. turned in a top lap of 554.69 miles per hour on his way to recording an average speed of 531.53. The NAA, the U.S. representative of the FAI, which certifies aviation records, was on site in Idaho to witness the attempt at the record. The record is unofficial until ratified by the FAI. The Commemorative Air Force Highland Lake Squadron has completed a volunteer mission delivering much-needed supplies to Beaumont, Texas, as part of relief efforts for victims of Hurricane Harvey. The C-47, owned and maintained by the CAF Squadron, was just what was needed for the effort. The plane delivered troops and cargo 70 years ago during World War II, and it is still a capable cargo hauler today. Blumenthal Bell could carry up to 4,000 pounds of cargo, so when the call went out for airplanes to help in the relief effort, CAF answered with some big iron. The crew returned home from the relief mission Monday evening. Crew Chief Mark Davis said that when they arrived in Beaumont, the first thing that happened was that people started taking pictures of the C-47 on the ramp, then helped the CAF crew unload the supplies. Davis said that the CAF found out that Orange, Texas was one of the places with a lot of need that was not being as well served as some others. So that's where they decided to take supplies. They found they could make quick turnarounds there, increasing the number of loads of supplies they could deliver over the weekend and into Monday. After the break, NASA astronauts oppose ATC privatization.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
The dream is real, a truly affordable personal jet aircraft. The Subsonics Personal Jet Kit is priced at only $42,000. Kit plus engine is still under $100K. Add instruments, upholstery, and paint and you're flying. It's time to put your money where your bucket list is. Learn more at sonicsaircraft.com.
Welcome back. If you'd like to be a supporter of Airborne Unlimited, send an email to jim@aero-news.net. 4 veteran NASA astronauts are featured in a 98-second video encouraging citizens to contact their congressional representatives to oppose the privatization of U.S. ATC services. We know better than most that our national airspace is precious and that our freedom to use it now hangs by a thin thread, explains former Gemini and Apollo astronaut Lieutenant General Thomas Stafford in the video produced and distributed by the International Council of Air Shows. The organization is distributing the message through social media to educate the public on the dangers of this legislation. In this video for astronauts, Stafford, Jim Lovell, Robert Hoot Gibson, and Ken Cockrell explain the negative impact of the House Bill H.R. 2997, which includes language that would surrender the infrastructure and management responsibilities of America's entire ATC system to a nonprofit organization dominated by commercial airlines and their allies. The legislation would put the traveling public at the unnecessary risk, warns Lovell, a retired Navy captain, who went on 2 Gemini missions and 2 Apollo missions, including Apollo 13. These astronauts were motivated to speak out on this important issue because they understand just how important a smoothly operating air traffic control system is to our country, said ICAS President John Cudahy. It's Friday, and that means it's time for ANN CEO and Editor-in-Chief Jim Campbell to check in with his weekly barnstorming commentary. The ANN gang is hunkering down for Hurricane Irma, but we're working hard to keep you supplied with plenty of aviation news regardless. Here's this week's barnstorming.
Thanks, Chris, and hi, folks. Well, I had a message all prepared about a couple of important subjects, but as it turns out, we may be having to bug out of here in a couple of days. I've been enthused and appreciate the efforts of general aviation and the rest of the aviation community to help folks in Texas who have been injured and harmed and displaced by Hurricane Harvey. But as it turns out, we've got our own Hurricane Irma to deal with. I was getting ready to leave here with a number of friends to provide a little bit of helicopter support via a series of R-66s being made available to us. But unfortunately, we're going to have to stick it out here. In the meantime, count on this. We're doing our best right now. We've got people all over the country who will be unaffected by this. We'll do our best to keep the news flow going otherwise unrestricted. However, most of our editorial team is in the way of the hurricane. As I said, we'll do our best. Although we may be restricted to a little bit less news than normal, we are staying ahead of both ANN, Airborne, and Aero-TV chores, and people in the Midwest and the West Coast will do their best to make sure you get what you need. In the meantime, though, my sincere gratitude to all of you who helped in the hurricanes that have befallen our countrymen in the last couple of days, and who may be helping in the next few days as we clean up after Irma, and as I understand it, there's 2 more right behind it. So we'll cross our fingers. We're watching the weather avidly. We're up in the northeast part of the state. This thing is now looking to go off the coast, hopefully pretty far off the coast, but we don't know yet until it gets here. So once again, fingers crossed, we'll do our best. Keep an eye out for the news. And if things slow down a little bit, please understand we're doing our best. But the wind will blow, the rain will fall, and we may have to bug out. We'll see. We'll keep you informed. For the Aero-News Network, Airborne, and Aero-TV, I'm Jim Campbell, getting ready to head for cover.
After the break, Santa Monica Airport hosting 2 events September 9th.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
The Bristol Light Sport aircraft is what you are looking for. The Bristol is wider than a Cirrus, faster than a Skyhawk, offers more storage than a Husky, and comes standard with Garmin avionics. So what are you waiting for? Visit Bristol.com to find out how you can get into a Bristol today.
With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing a few of those other great stories in a brief segment we call Around the Badge. Two events are planned for Saturday at the embattled Santa Monica Airport that will allow the public to see some of the many benefits of the airport to the community. In the first event, Angel Flight West will be featured. This key aspect of SMO gets little attention outside the airport, but fulfills a key community need. An additional Kids in Planes event is described as one of the most popular sponsored by the SMAA. Boeing projects a demand for 7,200 new airplanes in China over the next 20 years, valued at nearly $1.1 trillion. The plane maker's annual China Current Market Outlook was released this week in Beijing, with total airplane demand rising 6.3% over last year's forecast. Hong Kong Airlines has taken delivery of its first A350-900 on lease from AerCap, making the carrier the 15th airline to operate the world's newest and most efficient twin-aisle airliner. Altogether, Hong Kong Airlines will acquire 21 Airbus A350 XWB, including 15 purchased directly from Airbus and 6 on lease from third-party lessors. An aircraft broker in Arizona, who's also a convicted felon, has been indicted on charges of possessing firearms. According to the DOT OIG, on August 4, 2017, Brian Strelski, owner of First Coast Aviation, aircraft brokering business, was indicted in Arizona Superior Court, Maricopa County, on 2 counts of misconduct involving weapons, a Class 4 felony in the state of Arizona. In a letter to the FAA administrator, Senator Richard Blumenthal called for stronger safety measures to curb what he says is a deadly trend in small aircraft accidents. Connecticut has seen 8 small aircraft accidents and 6 fatalities in 2017. The letter urges the FAA to investigate training, medical vetting, maintenance, safety regulations, and resources to determine how to prevent future tragedy. Yep, more regulations oughtn't to fix that. Not. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Now let's get back to the rest of the news. Worldview recently completed another successful milestone Stratollite mission, breaking their previous duration record by 27 hours. The company says the achievement is a major step forward for the Stratollite. Stratollite was launched from Page, Arizona, on Sunday, August 27th, to further demonstrate the aircraft as a viable platform for high-resolution remote sensing. The Stratollite carried 4 remote sensing payloads from Ball Aerospace. Ball and Worldview intend to use Stratollite to collect persistent, high-resolution imagery for commercial and government customers, including U.S. Southern Command, who commissioned this specific mission. Flying through and controlling the Stratollite during a full day and night cycle is a major step forward. Temperature differences between day and night present buoyancy dynamic issues for the balloons, which make altitude and directional control quite difficult. But the company says it has now proven that the Stratollite system can handle those dynamics and is now the first high-altitude balloon vehicle to perform a controlled 25,000 feet altitude change in the stratosphere. Well, that's our program for today. Remember that Airborne Unlimited stream daily, Monday through Friday, with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside our normal deadlines. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe and do check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Keep flying. We'll see you Monday.